Hello and welcome to Sarcastic Videos. Today we're going to be talking about a Netflix original comedy special, Aditi Mittal Things They Wouldn't Let Me Say. To start right off the bat, this is shot in India. Aditi Mittal is an Indian comedian, and there are times, quite a few times throughout this special, where she does switch to Indian and then use subtitles. So it could get confusing if you just wanted to listen to the jokes. You actually have to watch and pay attention for the subtitles. At first, it seemed a bit distracting, but it wasn't too bad. There are actually a couple of times, though, when there aren't subtitles and she's speaking in a very heavy accent where it's hard to understand what she's saying. So in those cases, it does take a little bit away from the comedy, which is unfortunate because when you can understand, it's pretty funny. She starts out talking about, the usual thing that women complain about and have the right to complain about is men that whistle at them, trying to get their attention and start conversations. And she goes on about, how that's not really a conversation starter. And she talks about how guys now in India will actually try and whistle like Bollywood tunes to try and pick up girls, but how it's nicer now because Bollywood music has gotten so difficult to whistle that the guys are basically just embarrassing themselves. She does quite a few times, well, actually I shouldn't say quite a few, but a few times she does name drop people that if you aren't familiar with India pop culture or politics, you won't know what she's referencing, so that makes it a little difficult to understand the jokes, and that's kind of peppered throughout the special. She talks about the India and the weather and how the pastime is sweating, airport security, experiences at airports, how when you get on the plane, if you're really sleepy, there's guaranteed that there's a kid who's going to be the exact opposite, and trying to discourage the kid from making noise by telling him things like there's no Santa and that. And she ends that with saying we're all going to hell, so we might as well be well rested when we get there, which was a funny line. And like I said, she does switch to Indian a few times. She has this one thing she does about halfway through the show where she switches characters, actually changing clothes to an older lady giving sex education, but the accent she uses for this older lady is so heavy that it's pretty difficult to understand the jokes. I mean, there's a few that were pretty funny, like the best way to stay a virgin is to be an engineering student, things like that. Oral sex is the use of speeches. Foreplay is not just saying hello, my name is, things like that. They were funny jokes from what you can understand. She talks about, and that came from a conversation she had about sex education and how it's illegal in India to teach sex education to kids that are under 18. So they usually find out about it from movies, and the movies are so ridiculous that it kind of warps the mind a little bit. And she was wondering about, she talks about going into a toy store with her nephew and wondering, because her mom would worry about what toy the kid picked because of, whether that makes him gay if he picks a Barbie. But then she was wondering, does it make it more gay to pick a Barbie, who's this hot blonde girl, to play with, or to pick a man with, ripped abs and pointy nipples like Batman? So that was funny. And she talks about going clubbing and, all the weird things involved and having to wear heels and a thong and dealing with getting hit on all the time, things like that. And she ends with talking about an Indian beauty pageant, which again, she's referencing something that unless you're in India or pay attention to Indian beauty pageants, you're not gonna really get. But that's, I don't mean to make that sound like it's the whole show is her talking about India. It's not. She does have some funny jokes. They're just, every once in a while she puts in these Indian references that you're just not gonna get unless you're from there or aware of what's going on there and who pop culture is there and things like that. So in that retrospect, it's hard to understand the jokes, but the jokes that you do understand are funny. So overall, I will give it a thumbs up on Netflix because it was entertaining, it was funny, and she is funnier than most, or not most, she's funnier than some that are on Netflix now. So I'll give it a thumbs up, and out of 10, I'll rate it a 6 out of 10. It's slightly above average. She does have funny jokes. I just wish that I knew more about Indian culture, because I probably would have understood some jokes better and laughed more. So that's Aditi Mittal, Things They Wouldn't Let Me Say. It's a Netflix original comedy special, available now. If you like this video, like, share, subscribe, or all of the above. Thank you, and have a nice day.